All right. Okay, first question. No name. Why have I never heard of you before? Are you clonable? You are very interesting. So I think more than one of you might be good.
The world is so full of a number of things, I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings, as Robert Louis Stevenson said, and you know how happy they are. But seriously, one can't know about everything before encountering it, and isn't it better that way? Wouldn't life be the worst type of tedium if we already knew what and who we were likely to encounter? The element of surprise is not only entertaining, it is vital to human life and experience. And that's how this show manages to exist, to feed off that element of surprise and to use it in a way to promote those elements of our philosophy which get out in the cracks and crevices. So the reason you haven't heard is because I am a phenomenon, pardon me, in nature, like many that you haven't heard of. You haven't met every praying mantis or worm, and you hadn't met me before, but now you have. As far as cloning is concerned, it is not possible at the present time to do it correctly, and in any case, the clone would have to be instructed exactly like me, with all my life experiences, to be anything like me. Something which we should all thank ourselves is not possible either at the present time.
Okay, the second one in the envelope is from
the
Emily.
same envelope.
Same envelope, yes. But this is a very different question.
All right.
Shows how different people can be. Okay,
right.
Here's it. When people die and are brought back to life, why do they always come back evil? Shouldn't they be happy and be like, you know, like, well, hey, it's great.
Well, you'd think
back.
So. You'd think it would be
why
nice
do they
to
make
be
horror
back.
movies, right?
But how are you back? Are you back as a dripping corpse from an EC comic or a George Romero movie? That wouldn't make anyone happy. That's what you die to avoid, to become more and more subject to the indignities of old age. Death is an escape from what life can hand you. In the third book of Gulliver's Travels, a wonderful book, Gulliver finds out that there is a group of people called the Brugs who live forever, and he wants to see them, and he goes on and on about, oh, how wonderful it is to live on, and all the wonderful things you could know. These must be the wisest people on earth. And the person who he's talking to says, you don't know shit, essentially, to Gulliver. You know, these people are the most pathetic beings on earth. And then he shows them to Gulliver, and they are. They're like old people who what they would be like if they were allowed to get hundreds, thousands of years old, deteriorating all the time. I remember when I was asked about King Kong's penis.
Blindly, I closed my eyes when I opened this one to open it, so we don't know what's going to happen here. Not that we know what's going to happen in any one of your questions. But
what is going to happen?
What is going to happen? Okay. This one comes from nobody, or somebody who didn't give you their name. Besides money or good looks, none of which I have, what is some good baft for bagging party squid?
It does look like bath, doesn't it? But I think that the far limb of the A, when the pencil was lifted from the paper, actually crossed the first T, which is not a T but an I. In other words, what is good bait for bagging prairie squid? Prairie squid.
That's South Dakota kind of stuff.
Yeah, prairie squid is
God damn, like
yeah.
Holy shit.
This is part of the bucolic philosophy of the subgenius cult that I am more than ordinarily familiar with. And these prairie squid farmers use the prairie squids carnally. What is the best bait for bagging prairie squid? To be an open-minded, cheerful trusting redneck?
I can answer that question.
And what's your answer?
Well, basically what you do is you go up and you build yourself a big tower in the middle of a flat place like up in North Dakota, and then you climb the ladder with the gun. And then you get yourself a 12-pack of beer, and once you open that beer, the sound of the opening of the beer will bring out the, the thing you want, and then you just shoot it.
All right, that's good. That's a codicil to my answer, which is far more specific.
Okay, I'm ready for another one.
Wow, this one I think needs to be answered here.
This one breaks the bank, eh?
Well, it's just kind of, it's obviously it's bothering this person, and this is...
All right, well, let's try and then to relieve this
that are bothering people.
Trouble.
What is keeping us from composting human cadavers? This is, just as a comment, this has been the only topic of conversation for 2 weeks. And it'd be nice just to listen.
The only topic of conversation for 2 weeks.
That's
why don't we compost human cadavers? Well, we shouldn't necessarily compost them, but I do think we should bury them in the soil so that they can go back into the soil and benefit it. Instead, we fill them full of embalming fluid and put them in a box that nothing in nature can benefit from. Even in death, we cheat the natural world out of what it needs. And we keep ourselves from going back to the earth. The Indians, Native Americans, had the right idea. You put the body in the tree, and the birds carry away what they want, and then the rest falls into a state of desuetude. This is the best way. And also, if you are an occultist, and you do believe in spooks and ghosts, as long as there's something left of a body, those spirits can hang around it. So you want to release the spirit to go on its way. But when you say compost heap, as long as it's not for human consumption, you can get bad diseases from eating people, just as cows get bad diseases from eating themselves when we force feed themselves to each other, as we do. Mad cow disease comes from forcing cows to eat each other's brains. Well, we're coming up to the...
and these are, wait. These are the two I had trouble reading, so we'll have another... these are ones
complicated,
but these are
gnarled like branches of twisted trees. But we shall penetrate. Is Obama a Mason? If not, are they losing control of Western society? Are they going to start running China, where the real money is? To answer the last first, they can't have an official presence in China. China is deeply suspicious of the Masonic order, will not permit people to be Masons. And as you know, or perhaps don't know, George Washington was a Mason. There are Masonic symbols on our money, but I prefer to think of the Masons as they existed in my lifetime as a sort of a backslapping group of rotund businessmen, something like the Rotarians, Elks, or the Kiwanis Club. Nonetheless, the Masonic ritual does partake somewhat of ancient knowledge, particularly the part of the ceremony of invocation where you ask to be brought out of darkness into the light. Masons like Manly Palmer Hall, the author of the book The Secret Teachings of All Ages, interpreted this as to be enlightened in the case of the famous Enlightenment of the 18th century, the Enlightenment of the French philosophes. But many interpret this as an evil form of enlightenment. Why is it evil? Who are these people who find evil in everything? Christians. They find it. They expect to find it. And they believe that this is the false light of Satan and not the real light of Jesus, and people are being pulled away from Jesus. Frankly, I ask you, how reasonable does this sound? People who are suspicious will never allow such folderol. That's why China is not, and I doubt that Barack Obama is a Mason, although it once would have been politically helpful and useful for anyone running for office to join the Masons, and in fact to join them all, to join the Elks Lodge and the Kiwanis Club. In 1922, my grandfather, Benjamin Cypress of Boone County, Indiana, ran for the governorship of Indiana. And he was defeated because he opposed the Ku Klux Klan. But he knew who everybody locally was in the Klan because they started to induct him. He didn't even know it was the Klan. He thought it was another Falderal society. Of course, they didn't call it the Klan. They called it the Mystic Noble Knights of the so-and-so and so-and-so. And halfway through the ceremony, after everybody unmasked, this is the Ku Klux Klan. And he walked out. But not only did he do that, he recognized people who he'd seen at the meeting and greeted them in public on the street. And later on, his opposition of the Klan did cost him that election. Was it worth all the anticipation, suspense, and excitement?
No. All right.